with Coach Sash. I don't have a title for this yet. So if you think of something cool that you like, let me know. I already have Drive Live with Coach Tosh that I do on Instagram 3 times a day, Monday through Friday. And if I, anyways, so yes, I decided I wanted to like double check the Instagram because the Instagram, I did a test recently to see if I can see myself going live on Instagram. So far, still, I can't tell, which is interesting. Okay, anyways, so I decided that I'm going to come on here and give an actual talk for a second. So earlier today, I gave a talk, and everyone, yes, they got value from the talk, but I was actually surprised. Everyone got more value from the Q&A, or at least they told me a lot of value at the Q&A. And share, this is like my challenge for myself today, is sharing something personal about myself. Therefore, this is like me eating that frog for today. And it, part of what the Q&A was, they asked me, you know, they wanted me to tell them how it was for me when I left the military. And to be honest, this is a very personal story. It's not an easy story, but I'm going to share it. Okay. And I think I'm of the firm belief that by each of us sharing our life stories that we've been through, we can each learn something from it. And then we also get to see that nobody's a cookie cutter fucking person. And we're all human beings having different lived experiences. And yeah, so there you go. So yeah, no, I'm not from a cookie cutter background by any means. And when I got out of the Air Force, it was not an easy process for me. I was 25 years old when I left the military, and I'm gonna give you my age so you have context. So I'm 41 years old now, and so therefore now you know, like, yeah, it's been some time since I've been in the military. But when I left the Air Force at 25, my body went through some massive, massive changes. And so when you go into the military or when you leave the military, your body goes into shock. And my body was no different. At 25 years old, I broke out in shingles on my neck, which is weird. That's a weird spot to have them, but that's where I got them. And then on top of it, I lost bladder control. So I have injuries from the military, right? Nobody's going to leave the military with zero injuries. Just a heads up. We're all going to have some type of injuries. Well, because I ran convoys, and convoys, you could be in a Humvee driving on the road for 8+ hours. And so imagine being a female, holding your bladder that long, and which causes UTIs. Um, and because of that, I had a lot of UTIs throughout my 6 years in the military, which in turn comes back to me when I left the military, I lost bladder control, right? Which again, something a little bit embarrassing, but it's the truth. And I also, when I was in the military, I injured my spine. I actually slipped on ice. I was really, really young. I was like maybe 20, if that. When I slipped on ice, I landed on my tailbone. I was carrying an M60 machine gun. I was carrying 2 spare barrels. Um, excuse me, I was carrying 2 ammo bags and a spare barrel. So M60 machine gun, 2 ammo bags, and a spare barrel. And I slipped on ice, landed on the tailbone, little lumbar shifted out of place. So from there, yes, I did all the things I was supposed to do. I did the core strengthening to keep my spine in its proper place. But then when I got out, all my injuries I had acquired in the military, to including like pinched nerves in both my shoulders, were all like reactivated for some strange reason. Maybe it's not strange. Maybe there's an actual plausible scientific cause as to why your body goes into shock when you join and when you leave the military. And I would definitely go to wager that or hypothesize that when you go into or leave prison, your body also goes into shock. So it's probably along the same lines of like some type of trauma release. That's just my guesstimation. So during this experience, a lot went wrong when I left the military, but then I say that everything that went wrong was everything that also went right, because during the tough times or the tough situations, this is when we grow the most. Okay. So, um, 25 years old, left the military. I lost bladder control. So I had to retrain my body how to like hold my urine. Okay. And then on top of it, because that low lumbar shifted, I was in so much pain. So I had a hard time getting out of bed. I had a hard time walking, and I had to go to the VA to get put on steroids to bring down the inflammation. And during this whole process, I lost it was a restaurant job. I think I got fired from a restaurant job because they didn't believe me about the situation that I was in, and it is what it is, right? And so trying to find a new job in this whole process, actually got evicted from the apartment that I lived in, and then my car got repossessed. And why I tell you all these things is because when shit hits the fan in your life, you begin to find out what you're really made of. And I found such beauty and grace in this situation. I found a roommate that needed a roommate who was she was, I want to say, in her 60s, and she let me live with her. She lived a couple houses down behind a restaurant, and this other restaurant I walked to every morning. And of course, they hired me. I was serving coffee every morning, saving my money until I was able to pay cash for a new car. And then, life happened. So then I decided to like move from Florida to like Arizona to Colorado. So that whole lived experience happened. But in this process, again, telling you about my experience leaving the military, my body lost a lot of functions, to losing the apartment that I was living in, to getting evicted, right? And then um, getting my car repossessed in that time frame led me to find out, what am I really made of? Am I going to let that define me? Am I going to let that hold me back? Or am I going to make some lemonade out of some lemons? And then, yeah, I definitely, like, it wasn't easy. I'm sure I had my moments of crying and like woe was me. And even when we have our woe is me moments, we're like, God, why is this happening to me? At some point, we have to I so I call it my pity party. So okay, you can give yourself a pity party. I allowed myself to have my own pity party for a certain amount of time. Then after a while, I'm like, all right, time to pick yourself up by the bootstraps, time to move forward. So yes, move forward by finding the next job, the next step. I kept moving forward. So I don't know who needs to hear this message. Maybe nobody. Maybe there's one person. Maybe there's one person that needs to hear that doesn't matter what life circumstances you're faced with right now. Are you being evicted from where you're living? Is your body shutting down in some way, shape, or form? Excuse me, I'm getting over a cold. Is your car being repossessed? How can you learn from that experience and make better experiences in the future? Now, as human beings, we all have those moments where something's not going right. Maybe you're going through a breakup. Oh, I have to get a tissue. Excuse me. Um, so, okay. Um, Again, maybe there's something going on in your life and you're not quite sure how to get through it. Just one only thing that I want to tell you is you can get through it. You're strong enough. I believe in you. Why do I believe in you? Because I believe in me. I believe in the human being, and I believe in the human spirit. I know that when shit hits the fan, the human being is going to figure out a way forward. And I will encourage everyone to figure out a way forward, no matter what it is in your life. If it's something what you consider small or something that you consider major, doesn't matter. Just keep moving forward. Even if even if moving forward means just waking up and getting out of bed, maybe that's your win for the day, is getting out of bed, whatever that looks like. But I'll encourage you to keep moving forward no matter what. All right, so that is my rant for now. And leave me a comment on whatever platform that you're on that you're checking this out from, and let me know how this resonates or doesn't resonate with you, and let me know um, something that you're going through, if you feel so inclined to share. I'm going to continue sharing nuggets of my story, because I do believe yet again that when we share our stories with each other, we begin to grow as a human being, as people, and we all just get to realize that no one's from like a cookie cutter background. There might be people from cookie cutter backgrounds, and that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. But excuse me, there are tons of people that also need to see that things, when you're given shit, that we're gonna call that shit composting. When you're giving, let seeds. Okay, let me just start over. Seeds grow in the dark, right? So we're gonna bury our seeds in some shit in the compost, and then we're gonna allow those flowers to grow and to bloom. And sometimes, not sometimes, all the time, we're gonna let. Okay, how do I phrase this? Um, Sometimes you need to let life continue, or you need to continue to experience life in order to look back in hindsight to realize there was actually gold in the shit. All right. So that is my rant for right now. I love you guys. I hope you have a beautiful and blessed day. Mwah. I'll talk to you later. Ciao for now.